Arizona is pro sports retirement.
You had no chance with Kelly Kapowski.
We don't make mistakes. It's happy little accidents.
You only live once.
Run wild on you.
Who would have seen this coming? Oh yeah, it was Rank on tackling Dummies.
What's cracking, everybody? James Coe, Adam Rank here with you. We are the Tackling Dummies, just two idiots talking about football. Adam Rank, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. You know, it's a new world for me, so I'm really enjoying, like watching the Packers drama unfold. It's been pretty fun. Like, I honestly hope, for all the Packers fans' sake, that you did not squander the last 30 years for 2 Super Bowls and then have it all come crashing down. Because it's like, you're not the organization that you think you are, and you're going to find out pretty quickly. Like, you started half a season with Deshaun Kaiser. Right. Like, you should know what it's going to be like. But, okay, do what you got to do, guys.
Yeah, hey, listen, as long as we're right about the process, Hey, listen, you can't take a first-round wide receiver because, hey, listen, that's bad process, guys. Hey, I don't know. Anyways, we will, I'm sure, slam on the Packers later on in the program. We will, of course, hit on Tim Tebow going to Jacksonville and Julio Jones trade rumors swirling right now. I am sure Adam Rank and myself have plenty of takes on that as well. But Adam Rank, let's start with the hottest news in the football world. This is a football program, my friend. Of course, we're talking about the schedule release. Now, the full schedule release happening later this evening. We're, of course, recording this right now, Wednesday morning. But as the NFL is apt to do sometimes, they throw a little chum into the water, giving you a little bit of the week 1 early release here in the morning. What stood out to you?
Well, I think they're trying to hold off all the leaks. And they're like, hey, just look at week 1. Let's talk about that and see what happens. By the way, if you're streaming with us right now, Flat Bill Patty, Dynasty Vipers, some of the other Justin, all the people who are here. I can't even see the chat, so I don't know who's here. Garrett will roll in. I'll be on the NFL's YouTube channel doing my schedule predictions. Like,
really?
If you, oh yeah, and it is. That's sick. I should do. I'm bummed that I already missed out. I'm like, March 13th should be my day, like 3 and 13 day, where I pick a team to go 3 and 13. And now it's 3 and 14, of course. So, so by the way, and if you have a photo of me picking the 49ers to go 3 and 13 in your camera roll, that's not the own that you think it is, but thank you for doing it. I appreciate it. I made a boneheaded move, but that does not keep me from doing the schedule predictions tonight. And since we are talking about week 1, obviously the first thing that jumps out to me is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as per usual, the Super Bowl champion. Will be playing host. They're playing host of the Dallas Cowboys, which is a pretty good game. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, they're a huge ratings draw. Dak Prescott returning from injury. But you cannot sit here and tell me that game was not slugged in the Green Bay Packers. Because I feel like that if we had more clarity on who was going to be the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, that would be the leadoff game. But Jordan Love versus Tom Brady, not quite the same panache. Maybe Derek Carr versus Tom Brady. Who knows? Drew Lock versus Tom. We don't know. We don't know who this was going to be. But
I love that we're talking schedule release. We're talking Tampa Bay, and it somehow is able to circle all the way back
to slamming the Packers.
To slamming Green Bay. I love it. I don't know how you do it. It is an absolute gift, Adam Rank.
It is. It is an art. It is an art. Tom Brady, though, 14-4 in his career as a week 1 starter. He is 3-1 in games coming off the Super Bowl. I'm trying to figure out how it's just 3 or 4 games because he's won 6.
Right,
so
he's won
6.
I
think he was suspended for 1. Okay. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't quite the thing back in 2002. I have the research available to me. I should ask somebody, but he's 3-1 of those games. The last time coming off a Super Bowl win, he was in this contest, got smoked by the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think that's going to be a huge ordeal for them this week or this year. They should handle the Dallas Cowboys, should start off 1-0. Carolina is going to be playing the New York Jets. The Sam Darnold revenge game gets out of the way. I love I love Sam Darnold. I was talking to, who was I talking to? Hugh Jackson the other day. And we were talking about Sam Darnold. We're both huge fans of his. And I'm like, I love Sam Darnold, but he's got to make it. He's got to make it happen with Joe Brady, or he's going to be out of excuses. Some other games. I'm sorry, I won't keep you too. If I'm going too long on this, forgive me.
No.
But
not
Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
First start is going to be against the Houston Texans. Now, there is not clarity on who the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans is going to be. I think this was let's throw Trevor Lawrence a bone. I believe the Jacksonville Jaguars are at home. Hey, let's let them start 1-0 of the Urban Meyer era. And I know we're going to talk about Urban in a moment. But that's good.
Yeah, no doubt.
Buffalo-Pittsburgh is an interesting contest. The Bills handled the Steelers at the end of last year on their way to the playoffs. The Steelers probably could have turned a page and started looking towards the future. Obviously, Cleveland got a lot better. Baltimore is still really good. The Bengals have Joe Burrow. The Steelers are pretty content.
And Jamar Chase.
Yeah, Jamar Chase. And the Steelers are just kind of spinning their wheels. Again, as I do my predictions tonight, you might want to tune in to see what I say about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tennessee, Arizona. This will be pretty good. Titans will be without Arthur Smith. The Washington FT playing the new look. LA Chargers. That's fun. And we were talking about Cincinnati a moment ago.
Yeah.
They've got Minnesota. And Joe Burrow expected to be back. Jamar Chase, I should say. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know about this Vikings team at all, but I think that the Bengals could come out victorious in this one. Atlanta's got Philadelphia. First game for Arthur Smith. Nick Sirianni. Are they going to Rochambeau to see who wins? By the way, if you're ever playing rock, paper, scissors, 87% of the people always start with rock.
With rock? Is that right?
Yeah. They want to show dominance. They want to show power. So they start with rock. So I always start with paper.
Crazy idea, Adam Rank. Crazy idea. But instead of a coin flip to determine overtime, should teams be Rochambeauing it?
Rochambeau. I think that's a better. I bring out Madden. Play 3-minute quarters and just play some Madden on the side. Like the amount of time it takes for them to go to
commercial break.
Here's the coin flip. We'll be back after commercial kickoff. Back after commercials. I would just do Madden to determine that.
That's not bad. Play 1 4-minute quarter of Madden, and whatever the score is after one quarter, you're done.
The score is what the score is. We've got we have that game. We have 49ers and the Lions. Hey, Jared Goff, your first game back is going to be against the San Francisco 49ers, but your offensive line's a lot better than it was, so that's good. Indianapolis and Seattle, that's pretty good. Carson Wentz. Kansas City, Cleveland. Like I think if by the way,
I feel like Adam, I feel like the Indianapolis Colts, low key, they're kind of sort of like loading up a little bit, you know, like they added Antoine Woods, they had Eric Fisher. These are like kind of low key signings. Like I get it, like they might not end up panning out, but the upside on those pickups for the Colts, I kind of sort of like, man. So that's a game I'm going to be circling for sure.
No, absolutely. And I think that the Colts, you know, one of these teams who are very good, who are expected to be contending for their division titles and everything like that. Somebody's going to start off 0-1 or 0-1, whatever. Don't be an ass. But you know what I'm saying. Like somebody's likely to lose that one. Miami, New England. The Dolphins lost to New England in week 1 last year. If you remember that. Miami actually had a pretty good season, but that's an interesting one.
Yeah, they did.
New Orleans, Green Bay. Jameis Winston. Jordan Love. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
We got Denver and the Giants, so that's Aaron Rodgers facing the New York Giants. No, I'm kidding. You know what though? I feel if Aaron Rodgers is first of all, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, he needs to take a page out of the Jalen Ramsey playbook and show up and just get hurt. Show up the Chargers Show up to whatever practice. Show up to practice. My hamstring hurts.
It hurts.
Have an MRI on my hamstring. Okay, fine. That hurts.
Yeah.
That's it. You're done.
My ankle feels a little swollen. You know, it might be a high ankle. Might keep me out 6 to 8 weeks. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'd really push the issue that way. I know it's kind of a D move, but I think that the players, are on board with him, which I don't think that they are. In any event, though, we have that game. The Rams playing host to the Chicago Bears. Like that.
Hey-o. How we feeling about that game?
I don't like that game at all.
No, you don't.
I don't. I think the Rams are going to be really good. I know that this is going to be a huge year for Sean McVay. We talk about players like Sam Darnold goes into a season of like, hey, you're out of excuses. If you can't get it done with Joe Brady, then you're going to have a very lucrative career holding a clipboard for the rest of your life, wearing a ball cap on the side. Well, not with that head of hair, but being on the sidelines, just looking like a G. Sam Darnold's going to be in the NFL for 15 years. So that's cool. But you know what? You're if you can't make it work with Joe Brady, it's not going to happen. Similarly, with Sean McVay, like you're the genius. You have now put it on Jared Goff as, hey, I just couldn't win with this guy. And that's fine. If that is your perception, okay, fine. Well, now you have Matthew Stafford, and you invested a lot of draft capital into him.
Yeah.
If you can't make it, we will find out if you truly are a genius. If you really are.
I honestly, this is no cap, no exaggeration. This is an absolute make it or break it year for the Rams front office, I don't want to say for Sean McVay because he has built up so much good capital in the NFL, but certainly for the front office because they have absolutely brokered their future for win now, and they have to win now. And if they don't, if they get off to a slow start, which by the way could happen, hey, listen, tough division, Matt Stafford learning a brand new playbook, it could happen. A slow start could happen. So, yeah, it's absolutely a make-or-break year for that front office there in L.A.
Wait, hold on. I can't tell you who the opponent is.
Okay.
But give me a second.
Okay.
The Rams have a tough game in week 2. I can't say who it is. The Rams have a chance of starting off 0-2. Like two teams that I think are very good. The Chicago Bears, a team that I can't tell you who it is. They're playing a very
Adam
good team
Rank
in
with
week 2.
The inside info right now. Just sitting on it, man.
Is Flacco Patty here?
Come on, bro.
I know. I got to do it. I honestly hate schedule release because I hate having it and knowing what I know. And then when you see things happening, you're like, I don't know. Like, I'm just sitting here because they're so deathly serious about it. Like, you don't even make jokes. But the Rams are in an interesting spot. Also, a lot of people feel like, Matt Nagy isn't a great coach. And that's true. Whatever. I know how Bears fans feel. A lot of people feel that Matt Nagy, like, they ruined Mitch Trubisky's career. Like, did he? But this is going to be an opportunity for him as well. Like, if Justin Fields ends up being the player that we think he is.
Right.
And Matt Nagy starts making that work and this becomes a highly prolific offense, then all of a sudden Matt Nagy could be like, oh, wow, well, maybe he is the guy that we thought he was when he was voted coach of the year in 2018.
But you know what, though? Flip side of that, though, Adam Rank, is if they don't make it work.
Yeah.
If Justin Fields struggles out the gates, it's not going to be on Justin Fields. It's going to be on Matt Nagy.
Oh, 100%. I mean, but he's already in that position. Like, people already think he's a clown anyways. So it's like, if it comes out of Matt Nagy just can't call plays or whatever, then for a lot of Bears fans will be like, see, we told you. Like, everybody's already negative on him. I'm like one of 4 people who root for the Chicago Bears who actually likes Matt Nagy. So it would be a complete reversal if they go out and win. And I'll tell you something right now. I went back and was looking at 2018 and some of the things. When Mitch, before he got injured by Harrison Smith of the Minnesota Vikings, which was a cheap shot. Right. And I know Vikings fans they never want to say that it's a cheap shot. They're like, that wasn't a cheap shot. I'm like, first of all, there was a penalty on the play. He was fined. He was suspended. Like, it was cheap. Like, it was flagged. He was fined. Like, that's a definition of a cheap hit. Like, I'm not saying it's Charles Martin, but it's a cheap hit. And you guys have to own that. But it will be interesting. But it's going to be for both these coaches, for Matt Nagy, and like you said, Sean McVay probably has more capital because he did get the team to the Super Bowl. It's going to be interesting. Like, both these coaches are out of excuses, but both of them could also go out there and cement their legacies and say, like, see, I'm a G. I know what I'm doing. It was the quarterback who sucked, and then move forward that way. The Monday Night Football game, obviously, is going to be the Baltimore Ravens against the Las Vegas. I have this written, so I don't have where it is. I think it's in Vegas. But the Ravens have won 5 consecutive season openers. The Raiders have a modest 2-game streak in their openers. This will be an interesting one. It is kind of a bummer there's not going to be a doubleheader Monday night game, which I absolutely loved. I think they should do I know that the streaming rights for Thursday night football are so lucrative, but there are so many games on a lot of Sundays. Like, give us the early, like, you know what? Hopefully more people will be working from home, not because they have to, but because employers realize, like, oh, we can let people work from home. It's fine. I think that we should start adjusting our thinking, like having more day baseball games, having double headers on Monday night. We have, on week 1, there's 13 Sunday games? Like, throw an extra one on Monday night. Monday afternoon football. It's amazing. Why
It's great.
I just don't think that we've sold it. Like, I think that, like, how does it, like, of all people, of all companies, like, hey, NFL, you can sell a second Monday night package. Would you want to do this?
You'll
Is
be
this
fine.
something that, let's go to
That
Netflix.
I could interest you in? Yes.
Let's go to Netflix. Let's go to YouTube. Let's go to somebody. Let's go to, we already have Amazon Prime. I think Hulu's got games. Who am I missing? Apple TV, Paramount Network, like, whatever. Get a second Monday night game, for crying out loud. But I did skip over one of the probably the best game. Like, if we were picking a kickoff game based on the actual matchup and not because we wanted to allow the Super Bowl champions to get their rings and everything, Kansas City Chiefs and the Cleveland Browns, who I believe, if they're not the 2 best teams in the AFC, they're top 4. I mean, if you think about it,
I don't
Kansas
know
City, wait, hold on. Kansas City, you don't think
Cleveland,
Kansas City?
though?
You don't think Kansas City is a top 4 team? What is wrong with you, James Coe? Explain to me how the Chiefs are not one of the top teams in the
Explain to me
AFC.
how the Cleveland Browns with Baker Mayfield is a top 4 team in the AFC. Explain that to me.
Well, you know, I'm going to need you to hold on to your socks here for a moment. But they made the Final Four of the AFC last year.
Oh,
I don't know if you.
Okay.
I don't know if
All
you
right.
remember this happening. They were in the divisional round against the Kansas City Chiefs. Actually played very well in that contest.
Okay.
Why don't I remember being in Vegas for? Oh, that's right. The world was shut down. Like, why don't I remember being around for that game? But yeah, they were in the Final Four. They had an emphatic win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, if Cleveland would have gone to the playoffs last year and they whimpered, they lost to the Steelers, whatnot. Okay, whatever. Like, a great year. Like, way to go, Cleveland. You're back in the playoffs. You got a lot of momentum. They smoked the Steelers. And I know Pittsburgh added some cosmetic touchdowns. So if you just look at the score, you're like, well, it's close. And like, it wasn't close.
Right.
It was not close at all.
Not at all.
They played pretty well against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are a great team, you know? So I think there's a lot of momentum. And if you look at a team that really improved over the course of the offseason, they have added Jadeveon Clowney. They've added a lot of defensive pieces. They had a really nice draft as well. I honestly believe that Cleveland is amongst the top 4. I think Buffalo, Baltimore. If you're thinking top 4, Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, Cleveland. I think those would be my 4 top teams right now.
Okay. Well, I'd have to probably dig around a little bit deeper, but I don't know, just off the cuff, man. I do like the Colts a little bit. The reason I think that the Browns may see a little bit of a drop off here is, look, Kevin Stefanski introduced a brand new style of offense there, a lot of outside zone run concepts, and I just feel like they got a lot of folks by surprise. And I think this year there's going to be a little bit of, coming back down to earth as defensive coordinators kind of figure that scheme out just a little bit, just a bit. And I love his scheme, don't get me wrong. But certainly Baker Mayfield needs to take a step forward. In my opinion, I think Baker Mayfield really needs to take a step forward for that team to reach new heights. And you know what, Adam Rank? I will offer a full mea culpa if he does do that. But I just feel like we've seen enough of Baker at this point to say, hey, listen, he is who he is. But I mean, again, I've been wrong, and I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong. Listen, man, like why are we talking? You're making it sound like the Steelers last year were some kind of juggernaut, bro. Like they were limping into the playoffs. Ben Roethlisberger was like a shadow of himself. It was embarrassing what they were putting out there offensively.
Oh my gosh, you're being ridiculous. Like you'll sit here last week and make so many excuses for Jared Goff. But Baker, who won a playoff game recently, I guess Jared Goff did too, right? Yeah. Yeah, they won. They had to win to get to Green Bay, right? Yeah.
Yep,
no?
they did.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Oh, yeah, they
beat
beat Seattle, right? Yeah, that's
right.
Whatever.
In the wild card. Yep.
All right, well, here's what okay, fine. We'll see who's better, Baker or Goff. Like that's great. Like I think that's the way that we will now define the tackling dummies. It comes down to who's better, Baker Mayfield,
or Jared Goff. Oh God.
One quarterback I think we won't be hanging our hats on this season is, and I don't even know if he's a quarterback anymore, Tim Tebow, back in the NFL. Why is this happening?
Why? To me, Adam Rank, I understand why people are upset, and I also understand why people are kind of excited about it because, listen, he's a name brand, Tim Tebow. And, you know, I thought Matt Berry actually brought up a very good point, right? Like, this is a dude that was chilling on his couch, but he wanted to compete. He's coming back. There's only one spot in the NFL for him. It's with his old coach, Urban Meyer, and he's giving him a chance. He wants to compete. He knows he's going to get the hate, and yet he still wants to do it. He could be on the couch right now collecting millions, and you know what? He's out there. He's wanting to be with the guys. But at the same time, then there's the other side. And I kind of side with the other side of this, which is this is nepotism at its absolute worst, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, there's got to be other players. We're talking about, what, a 36-year-old guy who hasn't played a starter's minute since 2012. Since 2012. And he's getting an opportunity. That is crazy, bro. And he's starting at a brand new position. He's never played tight end. Like, come on, man. Like, it's nepotism at its absolute worst. And that is why I think a lot of folks are upset about it. On one hand, I give kudos to Tim Tebow for saying, hey, listen, I will try out tight end and see what I can do here. But I just want to compete. I just want to play. I just want to feel that roar of the crowd one more time. But, man, I got to say, man, it is a little bit, I don't know, just discouraging a little bit that Urban Meyer would go this route.
Well, yeah, it is dumb. And it reminds me of a story that I heard yesterday where in one of the Monday qualifiers, some event, I think it was in Arizona, you know, every time these guys try out for you can try out for PGA Tour events, qualify for it. There was a guy who opened with a 10, 10, 10, 8, and finally an official showed up and were like, we need you to just leave. You're ruining it for everybody else. I think the NFL should step in here and be like, hey, like, we can't allow this to happen. You cannot sign Tim Tebow. Get him out of here. Tim Tebow has a better chance of being in the main event of an AEW Dynamite on a Wednesday in the future than he does of ever playing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We did not have a player from a historically black college or university drafted this year. And yet Tim Tebow is getting another shot. And by the way, Shohei Ohtani pitched 7 innings last night, went to go play right field in the 8th. And yet people don't talk about this. But Tim Tebow is a topic of conversation, and I know that people. People.
Wait a second. What a left turn that was! Like, what? Why are we talking about Shohei Ohtani all of a sudden? I don't get it, man. Like, what is going on here?
I just thought it needed to be said,
okay.
I don't know, like of things that trend on Twitter, and I know that it's late.
Okay.
I know it's late. People are like, oh, the Angel games start so late, or they're an irrelevant franchise. You're like, first of all, the games don't start that late. You're on the East Coast. Like, you should be used to it by now. They're not an irrelevant franchise. They're a smaller market team, but they're not irrelevant. I mean, I know the Dodger hats have popped up over the last 4 or 5 years because like they've been on a little streak or something, and they won some tournament last year.
Where are the Angels in the standings right now?
It doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't look at the standings right now.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? Like,
I think they're a game below 500. Like that's what they're.
Okay.
They're a game below 500.
That's not irrelevant, but it's irrelevant adjacent. I mean, if we're being real here, no.
First of all, okay. Well, if you play fantasy baseball, like how are these NFL teams? Like we're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars right now, a team that finished 3-13. Like, aren't they wouldn't you consider them an irrelevant franchise? And yet we're spending so much time talking about a guy who hasn't played since 2012. You can't tell me like the team's irrelevant. Like, well, then why are we talking about the Jags? Why do we care about Tim Tebow then? This is a salient point. I know why we don't talk about Shohei Ohtani. Okay. But at the same time, we really should. And follow the account. Did Shohei do something? Did Ohtani do something awesome? By the way, it's not me. I know I retweet it all the time, but I am not the person who runs that account.
That's not true. Well, you don't have the time, bro. You do not have the bandwidth, and because you're doing way too much. By the way, I was doing a little research on Tim Tebow, and I actually forgot how short his actual NFL career was, only because he's been in the limelight and been in NFL, talks for so long.
Yeah.
But the dude was a 2010 first round pick at quarterback and only played 2 seasons in Denver, was a part-time role player for the Jets, and never played a regular season minute again. That is crazy to me.
He had that touchdown pass to Rick Upchurch or whoever it was against the Steelers. Rick Upchurch.
Rick Upchurch.
I don't know.
Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas in overtime. 80 yards to the cribbo. Yeah.
That was one of the best plays in NFL history. I'll never forget. That is so amazing. Just so amazing. It's funny too, because you know that John Elway wanted nothing to do with Tebow. And you're like, how do I get rid of this guy now? After he went out and did this. I think he did. I think he was gone the next offseason.
He was. No, he was. That's what's crazy about it. Because they ended up signing Peyton Manning and then obviously made Tebow expendable. They traded a 2010 first round pick 2 years later for a 4th rounder. I mean, that's how fast and sudden Tim Tebow's career was. And that's what, man, and again, when I look back on that, I was like, is that true? Can that really be the case? Because, man, I'm telling you, it just seemed like he had been around in the league for so long, and I know he bounced around a bunch of practice squads, but the fact that he only played basically, 2 full seasons at quarterback is just, it's mind-boggling to me. I don't know. It shocked me. It shocked me when I saw that.
It kind of runs similar to where the Macho Man, Randy Savage, was not a professional wrestler for as long as you think that he was. Like he was such a shooting star that you would have thought like, oh, he was in the AWA in the 70s and was still wrestling in 2015 or something like that. But he never did. Like he had his run in the WWE was pretty brief before
it was.
Vince McMahon put him behind the microphone, which to me was like, dude, I love the Macho Man. Like he's probably my favorite wrestler. Maybe Chris Jericho. He's in my top 4. His voice does not lend itself to commentary. Like it's just not.
No, it's
not what it is. And then he jumped to WCW and had a nice run. And then he went.
His run in the WCW was a little wasted, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, it's always going to be wasted because Hulk Hogan's there, ruining it for him. Like that's the one thing that it's unfortunate that Vince McMahon didn't use him as part of the Attitude Era. And,
exactly.
I was watching, they did.
Exactly.
He, cause he bounced like just one day he was gone. Like they were going to TV tapings for Raw and they're like, where's Randy? They're like, oh, he's on Nitro right now. Like, okay, good for him. Like if Vince, I agreed. I remember being in the vocal minority of people when Bret Hart jumped. I was like, yeah, who cares? Like, I know Bret is one of the greatest of all time. He's never been never been my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, The Undertaker's the same way. Like, I understand the lore and the mystique of The Undertaker. I'm not saying that he's terrible. I'm not saying he sucks or anything like that. I just wasn't the biggest Undertaker fan. It just, sometimes it happens. Like, you can acknowledge that somebody is really great. Like, but it's not my favorite. Like, he didn't connect with me. It's like, it's kind of like when we were talking last week about Star Wars movies, where you're like, I understand that people love Star Wars. I just don't, it doesn't connect with me. And I know that that's similar to me with like The Undertaker. Bret Hart a little bit more as he got older. I really grew to appreciate him more. But The Undertaker for sure. So I just wish that the Attitude Era would have used the Macho Man.
100%. I have no idea how he landed here, but I'm here for it. I absolutely love it. But Adam Reich, let's get back. I know. So where are we here? Let's get back. I'll try to talk about Davante Adams. Had a very interesting. I don't believe talking about Macho Man as an Attitude Era wrestler was anywhere on.
Let me look at the rundown here.
No. Okay, that's it's mistake. Really it really wasn't.
That is my error. I apologize.
How about Davante Adams dropping this quote to Fox Sports Radio? Quote, if Aaron Rodgers were to bounce, Davante said, quote, doesn't mean I'd be gone, but I'd certainly have to do some extra thinking if my guy wasn't here. Again, that was Adams telling Fox Sports Radio. What do you make of it?
Well, it would be the first time that somebody would actually want to play with Aaron Rodgers at another location. So I think that's good. What? No. Who is the big name free agent who has ever like when Tom Brady, this happened in New England.
Here we go.
This is happening in Tampa Bay. Anytime there's a big name free agent who becomes available, be it Antonio Brown. The Buccaneers didn't want Antonio Brown. They brought him in. Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette. They joined a team that was already pretty good. When has that ever happened? When has Emmanuel Sanders ever gone and played for the Green Bay Packers? Never.
The two guys you're talking about Gronk. I mean, Gronk loves Brady. You're talking about Antonio Brown. He's an absolute pariah in the NFL. It's literally the only place he could have gone. Like, what are we talking about here, bro?
Anytime that there's somebody available, they always want to go play with Brady. And I think it just lends itself to the fact that Brady's a winner. Like, Brady joins the NFC. He already has as many NFC Super Bowls, as many NFC titles as Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know. Maybe people see Aaron for who he is, and they're like, whatever. And I think Davante Adams is also just being nice. I think he was saying like, I'm not leaving, but also, who wants to be in Green Bay? Probably nobody. Certainly not Aaron Rodgers. I would love to see him go try to form a super team in the AFC, of course.
Oh, my God.
Like, go do it. Go to Denver.
Of course. Right. By the way, Adams is in the last year of his deal, so he does actually have a lot to consider here. It's not like he's kicking this can down the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's in the last year of his deal. He really is weighing his options here, and Davante Adams is going to be highly sought after by every team in the NFL. Come on, let's be real.
He's going to Las Vegas. He's going to go play with Derek Carr. I think that I even mentioned this last year when I was doing my mock draft with a twist.
Yeah.
There were rumblings before that Davante Adams was not thrilled with Green Bay. And I even said that last year, you can go back, you can find the article on NFL.com. It's not difficult to find. I said that the Packers should trade Davante Adams to the Raiders for their first round pick and more, and then use that pick on Justin Jefferson. But that's just me. That's just me. And I would have used that other first round pick on T. Higgins. So I don't know. That's me.
By the way, can I just say, man, like it absolutely just blows my mind when I'm reading about Packer fans talking about, oh, you can't take a first-round wide receiver. There's so much research that says first-round wide receivers are likely to be bust. It's all about the second round when you take a wide receiver. Well, guess what? They didn't take a second-round wide receiver either. Okay, so listen, but the point is, let's say that's true. Okay, let's say first-round wide receivers are a bust. Okay, but you know that Aaron Rodgers is upset. You don't think moving up and getting a beast like Rashad Bateman or Terrace Moore would be going a long way in kind of assuaging that relationship, right? And I've talked about this at length on this program, which is the Packers are treating Aaron Rodgers like they're doing him a favor as if he's just another guy. Almost as if, and Rank, you've hit on this many times, like, oh, well, we can win. We're a model franchise. We can win with whatever we got, right? And it's like, bro, even if the process is right, which is you're saying first round wide receivers, super risky, doesn't work out, rather get defense, rather get O tackle, fine. Let's say that process is right. The result is wrong. You see what I'm saying? And for me, the result greater than the process. And the results are you want to be a 12, 13 win ball club. And the only way you're going to do that right now in 2021 is with Aaron Rodgers. So Packer fans, let's get a grip, man. Like, let's get a grip. Let's start talking about results over process, because right now it's mind-boggling to me to see what Packer fans are kind of saying, talking about, oh, hey, listen, we don't need Aaron Rodgers. Like, stop it. It's crazy.
They need him. That is a fact. I hope, listen, go without him. See what happens. It is interesting, though, because I noticed in a lot of fantasy drafts already or whatever, Devontae Adams stumbles a little bit. Michael Thomas, based on what happened last year, and of course with the uncertainty at their quarterback position, these guys are tumbling. So it's wild to see the way that this is working out. Like guys like Justin Jefferson are just climbing up the boards. People want to invest in that team. I think that they could, so I don't know. I mean, it's pretty enjoyable. Again, I will go back to being like, I'm enjoying watching this all unfold. And the fact that they never learned their lesson the first time. They're going through it again. Like, hey, like maybe at some point, Packers, maybe it's you. Like the first time you could be like, Brett Favre, kind of a douche. Like, okay, I could go along with that. Now it's Aaron Rodgers. At one point you'd be like, hey, maybe you're the bad breaker-upper. And you either need to decide, like, are you going to be a ruthless franchise? Like the team that traded up to get Jordan Love, well, then be that franchise. Be that ruthless franchise. Show the world that you know what you're doing, that you're smarter than everybody else. Trade Aaron Rodgers for a bevy of picks. The Denver Broncos would take him. I think the Broncos would probably be the only team that's in the market. I don't know. Maybe Gruden would want to move on from. You know, the thing, too, is I always hate that people act like the Raiders need a quarterback. And I know that the Derek Carr haters use that as a springboard of like, see, the Raiders, but the Raiders actually have an advantage over the Broncos because they could offer Derek Carr. I mean, the Broncos can't be like, hey, take Drew Lock as part of our deal. You'll be like, no, that's cool. You actually have to keep him. The Raiders can include if the Packers believe that like, oh, Jordan Love needs another year or something like that, you can be like, hey, well, how about in the deal that we would give to you, we will send you Derek Carr as a bridge quarterback. You know, you've got the connection there with him and Devontae Adams. They can make it work. He's he's a good quarterback. And
I mean, he's
a good quarterback. Stop it.
I mean, he's slightly
you want to ensure
above
that
league.
David never comes on this show? Just keep talking.
I'm just
he's a good quarterback.
He's slightly above average.
Oh my God. Now you're being ridiculous. Would he turn down Cal to go to Fresno State? Is this where this is coming from?
No.
I can't.
No, I wish he did come to Cal though. You know,
you're so skewed because you sit here and make every excuse for Jared Goff, and then you're like Derek Carr, who's been great over the last number of years. You're like, I don't know, doesn't turn the ball over, plays hard, throws for 4,000 yards. I understand that those guys are a dime a dozen. Apparently, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a Bears fan. And I would just look at Derek Carr would have been the best Bears quarterback of the last two generations.
I'm saying he's a slightly above average quarterback. Can we say he's
a good quarterback?
Somewhere? Can we say he's somewhere in the 12 to 15 range? Is that fair? Am I being unfair in saying that?
He's 11, but okay.
Okay. I don't know. I was being disrespectful. Slightly above average. He's in the 12 to 15 range. Why? What tone?
Your tone was a little dismissive. I didn't care for it.
Okay. Let's talk about Julio Jones. A lot of trade rumors swirling, considering this is a dude that's an absolute beast. Now, I get it. What is he? He's 32 years old. He only played 9 games last year. But Peter King, the venerable Peter King, Adam Rank, said that there is a 60% chance the team trades Julio Jones. Rap Sheet, Ian Rappaport said the team is taking calls. Why? Because, my God, they need cap space. They need $6 million more in cap space just to sign their rookies, man. They are in absolute cap space hell. They need to create some kind of cap space, and trading away Julio Jones might be that thing. I don't know, man. What do we make of the rumors? Good idea, dumb or smart? I mean, we're called the tackling dummy. Dumb or smart? Trading away Julio Jones.
I think you can. It's probably smart. If you think of where the Falcons are going to be this season, I don't see them being overly competitive. Even when you bring in Kyle Pitts and put him with Julio, Calvin Ridley, obviously you went with Matt Ryan again. You didn't draft Justin Fields, which means you want to win right now. So you're kind of caught in the middle. If you want to win right now, it would be dumb to move him. But if you do want to think a little bit more long-term, well, then the smart thing is to kind of sell him off. I don't know where you would send him. I don't know what team. I don't think he's going to Green Bay. But, it would be fun, wherever he does land. Let's say he goes to, say Aaron Rodgers. What if you just had a string of events where you had Aaron Rodgers go to Denver, and then Atlanta trades Julio Jones to Denver, and you could get back guys like KJ Hamler or Cortland Sutton or somebody like that. So you can get a little bit younger at wide receiver and get some picks. I think that would be kind of fun. I wouldn't mind seeing somebody assemble a super team like that, especially if it's in the AFC. We don't need it. It would be so much fun for the AFC West to see Julio and Rodgers with the Broncos going up against Mahomes and Kelsey.
I love the low key, hey, listen, let's just get them away from the NFC North. I mean, hey, listen, just get them out of the NFC. Anywhere, just keep them over there. Let's get them in the AFC.
But we'll see how it goes.
Potential trade targets, by the way, if we're talking just about salary cap and fit and need and all those things. New England would be a spicy destination. San Francisco would certainly be a spicy reunion there with Kyle Shanahan. And Indianapolis, too.
The Colts would probably
use
best.
receivers.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
If you're not doing the Aaron Rodgers super team, I would say the Colts would be a pretty good option.
I mean, think about that tandem with T.Y. Hilton. I mean, again, I know that both of these guys are aging wide receivers, but they're kind of sort of built to win now.
What happens does Paris Campbell give up the 11 for Julio? Remember I wouldn't give it up for Carson Wentz? He's like, no.
You know what, though? Maybe Julio then takes the 1 because the New Jersey rules. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because
Julio in a... Yeah. Oh, man, Julio in a 1? Oh, forget about it. Oh, no, wait, that's 1,500 yards. Easy.
What number is Rodrigo Blankenship? Is he not number 1? No, he's 3.
Man, I don't know. I do love Rodrigo. I love Blankenship.
You know what's funny is last year as a joke, because one of my friends and I like to make dumb trades sometimes. And I was going to trade Younghoe Koo for Rodrigo because they're both my favorite players. But then I'm like, no, I'm going to stick with Younghoe.
They are.
And Younghoe was way better. Not that Rodrigo is terrible, but Younghoe was a superstar.
Well, he was kicker 1 last year, I believe. Rodrigo was great early on, but he kind of tailed off a little bit as the offense kind of slowed down.
The offense was more. I don't think he was missing field goals. I just don't think he was getting the opportunities.
Yeah, no, he was awesome, man. I love him. By the way, if I know we're talking about kickers here, but honestly, read the story on Rodrigo Blankenship. This is a guy that he's very comfortable with himself, Yeah. And I love this kid. But I'll say this. I want to say this about Julio Jones and the potential trade. You already knew that you were in cap space hell, Atlanta Falcons. Terry Fontenot, the new GM there. You already knew that you're in cap space hell. You already knew that you were going to, quote unquote, field calls on Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Why, as you mentioned, they're built to win now. Okay. You have the number 4 overall pick, and you spent it on a tight end. me make this make sense, Adam Rank. Like, what are y'all doing? If you're really thinking about trading away Julio Jones and you're not in win now mode, because you are in win now mode if you've got Julio Jones. If you don't got Julio Jones, I'm sorry, you're not in win now mode. You've got the number 4 overall pick. Draft a quarterback. Help me make it make sense. I don't understand. You've got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and that's a terrible way to go in the NFL. I don't understand it. Adam Reich, help me make it make sense, man.
No, you're exactly right. It is a 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But at the same time, you have to ask Matt Ryan, who's played at a high level for a long time. How many more years are you thinking? Because honestly,
not many. Maybe 2.
Well, it's up to him. Like, how many years do you think you're going to play? You're going to play 3 more? Then I'll ride with you. If it's 1 more, if it's 2 more, I got to let you go. We'll send you to San Francisco or whatever. Too late now, but send you to Denver, whatever you got to do. Send you to Mac Jones. Yeah, now it's too late. So they're in a terrible position. When we do our predictions today, I'm not going to be very favorable to the Falcons because of that. Plus, they've lost, like, their defense, their secondary was already bad.
Yeah.
And then they had to let go of Keanu Neal. And it's like, I don't know that that's making it like, it's like when Guns N' Roses was sort of broken up and they only had Axl and they had Buckethead and Robin Fink and all those guys. And if Axl left the band, you'd be like, oh, now it's really bad. Like, it's almost to the point where the Falcons are like, if you go see a band, like, I'm going to go see Warrant at the county fair and there's no original members. It's like somebody's son, Janie Lane's son. It's something out, like, whatever. Like, what am I watching here? I think that's what the Falcons secondary could be like. So I think that this is a bad situation. They should have just been like, let's get rid of everybody. They couldn't even sign a running back. Like, Mike Davis is their guy.
I know.
God bless him.
And they desperately need one. It's crazy.
By the way, we did mention the Eagles-Falcons week 1. Jalen Hurts season. Is Jalen Hurts going to open the fantasy year as the QB1 for week 1? He's going to be.
Probably. Absolutely. Dude, look, if you are a veteran fantasy player and, most folks probably going to be taking quarterback late, that's the guy. That's the guy. I mean, you got to target that dude in round 10, just to jump the shark a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Jump the line a little bit because people are going to be eyeballing him, But once you get to those double-digit rounds, just swoop them up, dude. It's all good.
Jalen Hurts, week 1, baby. And you know what? Even though he cost me a championship. Actually, the non-reversal on his fumble cost me a championship last year. I'm still going back to him. I love the kid. I think that the Eagles are going to be very bad. I think both these teams, Falcons and Eagles, are not going to be great. They got first-year head coaches. We don't know. Like Arthur Smith, like when he became the offensive coordinator, I mean, I've been wrong about Arthur Smith before, so it wouldn't be a shock to me if he came out and just crushed it. But I don't know. These are like Zach Taylor hires where you're like, I don't know what this dude looks like. He could walk past me at a Banana Republic and I wouldn't know.
He's like the Madden creative coach guy.
Yeah, I don't shop at Banana Republic anymore, but I make money now, so I go to Lululemon. But my nephew's got a discount. He's a personal trainer. So he's like, hey, I'm going to go get some Lululemon joggers. That's where I am in life. Like some point when you make too much money, you're like, what am I understand. Like, this is why I don't understand why rich people get so bent out of shape about taxes. Like, I don't know what to do with my money. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm joking. I just was, I was sweating because I just bought a $25 vintage Arnold Palmer polo from the 70s. And it cost me $25 and my stomach hurts because I just spent so much money. I'm like, oh, why did I do that?
It reminds me of a convo that I had with the great Akbar Bajabiamila one time. I'm like, bro, can you ever imagine, and this was back in my NFL Network days, so it's been a while, but I was like, can you imagine like 10 years ago ever telling yourself that you would be dropping a hundo on sweats? Like, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But we do it.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. People
absolutely
were
insane.
My nephew was like, he's like, I get a 20% discount at Lululemon. You're like, bro, the pants cost $128.
Yeah,
like, no,
exactly.
that doesn't help at all. I will get you a free pair. Helps a lot. Me spending that amount of money for it, not so much.
Oh, man. That is so great. By the way, I just want to say hello to all the folks who are in the chats. And it's the usual
I've
cast of
ignored the
characters.
chat. Is it Flat Bill Patty?
I don't see Flat Bill Patty in here, man. But, we got Project Dribble
Joe
in there
Morley.
with, what's he saying? Trade Julio. ATL might be the 4th best team in their division. They are boy, you know what? The NFC South is always topsy-turvy. So I hate making predictions in the NFC South. But, they could be. They had a lot of close games last year. They lost a lot of leads late. I think they're actually better than you might anticipate. That's just my opinion.
The
Falcons, I think.
You know why they lost leads? Because their secondary was terrible.
Oh, they're off.
And now they lost everybody. They lost their good players.
I know, but let's see if they get coached up a little bit.
Obviously, those players weren't that great if they were one of the worst. So I understand where you're coming from there.
They're bad.
Keanu Neal is a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player.
And you're
100%.
trying to replace him with some third-round guy that you drafted from Stanford. Oh, no, wait, that was the Saints. But the Saints are in a bad spot, too. Like, the Saints lost so much of their depth that it's crazy. Like, when you think about it, they're having to pull up... their starting defensive tackle this year is going to be an undrafted guy from Texas that they picked up last year. And, these teams could be in a lot of trouble. So it's going to be an interesting division. But then there's the Buccaneers, hey, we got everybody back.
Yep, we're back. We're good. And Carolina's certainly going to be in the mix, too. I'm really excited about Carolina.
Carolina's going to be good. I'll tell you something right now.
By the way, hello, Joe Morley. Please don't. The Chargers need to swap Mike Williams for Julio Jones.
Oh, I like it.
Do they? I kind of like it too, but I don't know. He also kicks in with everyone waits for Adam Rank's season predictions. It's like your season predictions, Adam Rank, have become like a serious love-hate thing on the internet. You know what I mean?
I don't like that I don't get enough love for how well I do.
Why do they? It's like people just
they'll cherry pick stuff.
People love to hate you. That's what it is. They absolutely love hating you. It's mind-boggling to me. I don't get it.
It is, and the Bills last year, I predicted for 9 wins, which obviously they exceeded it. But the Bills fans were using that as a springboard of you disrespected us. I'm like, I picked you to win 9 games. You're
9
fine.
games.
I had the Steelers record almost perfect. Yeah. I was pretty close on the Patriots. The NFC North, I had the Bears at 9-7. They were 8-8. I had the Vikings and Lions as being garbage. I did not give the Packers enough credit, but I'm like, I had 3/4 of those teams correct. By the way, my Super Bowl prediction, nobody talks about this. My Super Bowl prediction, which I got wrong, I had the Chiefs beating the Buccaneers. I don't get it. For everybody who wants to post 3-13, post that I had the actual game picked correct. Wrong team. And I'm not talking about picking it from the start. And by the way, that year, 2 years ago, when we did our little playoff challenge, I was the only one in our little group with the Fantasy League One folks who picked the Chiefs to win the. Everybody's picking Baltimore. Everybody's picking San Francisco. Only Rank picked the Chiefs.
Only Rank.
On that note, though, I got to bounce.
Okay, it's all
Thanks,
good.
everybody.
But hey, man, we appreciate everybody.
I love
rolling
wait,
through.
hold on. Warzone. Rank is the heel that didn't even have to turn. Yeah, I've never been the face. Never been the face.
People just love to hate on you, man. They absolutely love piling on. I don't.
But I'm over in Chicago.
What is that world
so
like?
It's great.
You are, and in
I'm
Duval.
over in Chicago.
Very popular in Duval.
Duval, I'm CM Punk. I can go to Chicago and do no wrong. I'm actually over in San Francisco. I won that. I won that crowd over.
Are we sure about that?
100%.
Every single time.
I go on to
Every
KMBR.
single time I see you post, there's always somebody sub-posting you with 3-13 or whatever it is, man. It's again, ridiculous.
It's not the own that they think it is, but I got to run. I got to go put on a tie. I got to go up here on NFL Network.
Well, Adam Reich's got to go.
God
we
bless
appreciate
everybody.
I know, man. We appreciate everybody kind of rolling through, man. And it's been another fun show. And we will be back next Wednesday. Tackling Dummies. We will see you then.